There is a principle in life that stands true for anyone who has dared to dream, to strive, to stretch beyond the familiar into the uncertain. This principle is simple, yet profound. Now, before you dismiss this as mere positive thinking or an exercise in wishful hope, let's break it down to see the wisdom, the practicality, and the life-altering potential it holds. Imagine the power of waking up each day with the unshakable belief that no matter what unfolds, no matter the twists, the stumbles, the moments that seem like setbacks, everything will work out in your favor. This isn't just a mantra to soothe the mind. It's a foundation that transforms how you see the world, how you carry yourself, and how the world begins to respond to you. When you act like everything always works out for you, you're engaging with life on different terms. You're not merely reacting to events. You're positioning yourself as a proactive force. This attitude shifts your entire posture from one of hesitancy and fear to one of confidence and action. Think about the most successful people you know or have read about. What do they share in common? It's not just talent, intelligence, or sheer luck. It's a mindset, a deep-seated belief that challenges are not to be feared but embraced, that failures are not the end, but a pivot, and that in the end, they'll emerge stronger, wiser, and more prepared. How do you adopt this way of thinking? The answer lies not in some grand overnight change, but in the small, consistent actions you take and the thoughts you choose to nurture. It begins in the morning. You wake up and set the tone. Instead of reaching for doubt or the list of yesterday's disappointments, you reach for belief. You tell yourself, today is going to be extraordinary. Not because it's immune to problems, but because you're equipped to handle them, mold them, and grow from them. Every situation you face is a fork in the road. It's an opportunity to either cower at what you don't know or step into it, trusting that you'll learn as you go. Mr. Schoaf used to say, if you want to live a successful life, you must master the art of turning roadblocks into stepping stones. And he was right. Acting like everything works out for you isn't about fooling yourself into thinking you're invincible. It's about cultivating a resilience that turns every test into a testament of your growth. Picture a farmer planting seeds. He doesn't know exactly which ones will yield the best crop or what weather challenges might come. But he plants with confidence, nurtures the soil, and acts as if the harvest will be bountiful. If he were to doubt every seed, question every forecast, or fear every storm, he'd never plant at all. Acting like everything works out is your way of planting seeds in your life, knowing that with effort, attention, and patience, your harvest will come. Here's a thought to consider. When you expect things to work out for you, your mind becomes skilled at spotting opportunities and solutions where others only see problems. This is not mystical. It's psychology. Your focus directs your awareness. If you walk into a room expecting hostility, you'll find the scowls and the silent whispers. But if you walk in expecting warmth, ready to share and receive positivity, you'll notice the smiles, the open doors, the extended hands. The world reflects back what you project. Acting as if everything works out is also closely tied to your confidence. Confidence isn't just a trait, it's a habit of thought. It's built every time you choose to respond rather than retreat. When faced with a challenge, tell yourself, I can handle this, and even if I don't know how, I will learn. This shift turns anxiety into anticipation. It primes you to think creatively, to ask better questions, to seek solutions. There was a time early in my career when I faced a significant financial loss. It would have been easy to sink into despair, to label myself a failure and give up on my ambitions. But I remembered the principle. I asked myself, what can I learn here? How can this setback be the setup for my next success? It wasn't easy, but it was simple. That shift in mindset didn't just pull me out of that situation. It equipped me to navigate every challenge that came after. I saw myself not as a victim of circumstance, but as a student of life, constantly learning, adapting, and building. Even when things go wrong, especially when they do, there's a hidden power in acting as if they'll eventually turn in your favor. It's like navigating with a compass instead of a map. A map shows you the exact route, but life rarely provides that kind of certainty. A compass, on the other hand, gives you direction. You might face detours, obstacles, or rough patches, but if you keep moving with the belief that you're heading toward better outcomes, you'll find your way. Think about it. Life is not meant to be a perfect path, but a rich journey full of learning and becoming. Acting like everything works out teaches you to find joy, not just in the outcomes, but in the journey itself. It allows you to celebrate progress and perseverance, not just achievements. When you adopt this mindset, failures don't diminish you, they refine you. Each setback becomes another layer of experience, another chapter in your story of resilience and triumph. What happens when you act like everything works out? People start to notice. They may not be able to put their finger on it, but they'll sense something different about you. They'll see that you don't panic in the face of uncertainty, that you don't crumble when things don't go as planned. You inspire trust, not just in yourself, but in those around you. You become a source of encouragement, a reminder that if you can keep going, so can they. You build relationships on a foundation of confidence and optimism, drawing people who share that energy and can contribute to your momentum. It's important to understand that this isn't about pretending hardships don't exist. Quite the opposite. It's about acknowledging them, facing them, and choosing to see them as temporary. The rain doesn't last forever. The storm doesn't rage endlessly. And after every storm, there's a clearing. Acting like everything always works out means holding on for that clearing, moving forward step by step, trusting that it's coming. Some people might ask, isn't this just being naive? To them, I say, what's the alternative? If you act like everything is going to fall apart, like the worst is inevitable, what do you achieve? You may shield yourself from disappointment, but you'll also close the door to hope, creativity, and joy. You'll miss out on the power of perseverance, on the hidden strength that only shows up when you choose to believe that things can turn around. Our minds are powerful tools, capable of shaping how we interpret and respond to life. When you walk into a challenge expecting a lesson, you find it. When you face an obstacle expecting an opportunity to grow, it appears. This isn't just a nice idea. It's backed by countless stories of those who rose to success, not in spite of difficulties, but because of how they handled them. Seeing each setback as a step toward the next breakthrough. The habit of expecting good outcomes rewires your brain. It leads you to act more boldly, to take risks that align with your vision, and to persist when others would quit. This is not to say that you will always get what you want, but you will always get what you need to grow. And sometimes, what you receive is better than what you originally set out for. Think of someone climbing a mountain. The peak is the goal, the dream. But every slip, every wrong path, every moment spent catching your breath, those are part of the climb. When you act like everything always works out, you're less focused on just reaching the top and more aware of what each step is teaching you. The view from the top is rewarding, but the strength comes from the climb. There's also something magnetic about this belief. People are drawn to those who live with conviction, who seem to carry a secret assurance that things will work out. It's as if they're tuned into a different frequency. And that energy becomes contagious. Suddenly, people want to be part of your journey. They start to believe that if things can work out for you, maybe they can work out for them too. It creates a ripple effect of courage and possibility. Challenges, failures, and disappointments are part of the fabric of life, woven into the stories of every successful individual. What sets people apart isn't avoiding these trials, but how they respond to them. Acting as if everything always works out for you doesn't mean dismissing reality. It means facing reality with a heart full of hope and a mind ready to adapt. You become less fearful of the unknown, more willing to step forward even when the path isn't clear. When you begin to practice this mindset, you'll start to notice a shift. You'll find that challenges that once paralyzed you with fear become more manageable. Your inner dialogue changes from, "What if I fail?" to "What can I learn if I do?" You'll start looking at life as a series of experiments rather than a test where every mistake marks you. This perspective is liberating. It removes the heavy burden of perfection and replaces it with the joy of exploration and learning. This approach isn't just for the big moments in life. It's for the everyday. The next time you're faced with a tough decision, remind yourself, "I'll make the best choice I can, and no matter the outcome, it will work out for me." This doesn't absolve you of responsibility. It empowers you to act decisively, knowing that you have the strength and creativity to handle whatever comes next. But see, there's a paradox at play. When you act as if everything always works out, you often find that more things actually do. This isn't magic. It's focus and energy in action. It's your subconscious mind seeking out the paths, people, and possibilities that align with your belief. You see, when you expect positive outcomes, you're more likely to take the necessary steps to create them. You're more resilient when things go sideways, quicker to pivot when needed, and more attuned to opportunities that might pass others by. Years ago, a young man attended one of my seminars. He had dreams of starting a business but was paralyzed by the fear of failure. I asked him, "What's the worst that could happen?" He said, "I could lose everything." Then I asked, "And if you did, could you rebuild?" He paused, thought about it, and said, "Yes, I could." That's when he understood. He didn't need to fear failure as final. He needed to trust that whatever happened, he could use it, learn from it, and move forward. He launched his business with that mindset and faced plenty of setbacks along the way. But he stayed resilient, learned from each misstep. That's the gift of believing that everything will work out for you. It changes how you approach the game. You stop playing not to lose and start playing to win. You take bigger, bolder swings, knowing that even if you miss, you'll adjust, recalibrate, and try again. Life becomes an adventure, not a checklist. When you act as if everything works out for you, you cultivate a mindset of abundance. You shift from focusing on what could go wrong to considering all the ways things might go right. This isn't about blind optimism. It's about training your mind to see possibilities that others overlook. When your default response to challenges becomes, "How can this work out in my favor?" you engage with life in a way that energizes you and propels you forward. Acting like everything always works out changes the language of your inner dialogue. Instead of thinking, "I don't know if I can do this," you begin to think, "I don't know how yet, but I'll figure it out." This subtle shift in mindset does something remarkable. It opens doors that a doubtful mind would leave shut. You'll find that you become more willing to step into the unknown, to initiate conversations, to pursue opportunities that seemed intimidating. You'll notice that rejection stings a little less because you've reframed it not as a verdict on your worth, but as part of your journey towards something even better. Think about the best NBA players. They don't win every game or land every shot, but they play as if they can. Their confidence doesn't come from the assurance of success in every moment, but from knowing that their training, resilience, and willingness to keep pushing will ultimately lead them to victory more often than not. The same principle applies to life. You won't win every battle, but when you act like everything works out for you, you become the person who doesn't stay down after a loss. You're the one who picks up the lessons, finds the growth, and comes back stronger. Opportunities favor those who step into them with the belief that they are worth pursuing. When you approach life with this mindset, it doesn't mean you'll always have a clear path. It means you'll move even when the path is foggy, trusting that clarity comes with action. Taking that first step, making that initial move, these are acts of courage that reinforce your belief. And each time you do this, you build a reservoir of confidence that makes the next challenge less daunting. An important aspect of acting as if everything works out is how you manage the moments when it feels like it doesn't. Life isn't a straight line, and there will be days when you doubt, when things don't go your way. In those moments, remind yourself that setbacks are not signs to stop. They are reminders to pause, adjust, and keep going. You may not see the full picture now, but over time, patterns emerge. The twists and turns, the moments that seemed like misfortune, often become the very things that shaped you, prepared you, and propelled you forward. Think about the stories you tell yourself. If you constantly reinforce the narrative that life is hard, that you never get what you want, your mind will find evidence to support that belief. But if you start telling yourself that you are capable, that things have a way of working out for you, you'll begin to notice different outcomes. Acting as if things work out primes your mind to seek solutions, find opportunities, and make the best out of any situation. This isn't about ignoring problems or brushing over pain. It's about choosing to frame your experiences in a way that empowers you. When life throws you a curveball, acting like it will work out doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. It means facing it with the question, what can I do with this? This approach transforms every challenge into a chance to learn and adapt. It shifts your focus from dwelling on what you can't control to taking action on what you can. Acting as if everything works out invites a certain calmness, a steadiness that others will notice. You'll find that in stressful situations, you become the person others look to for reassurance. Your belief that things will be okay becomes a source of strength, not just for you, but for those around you. This confidence radiates outward, creating a ripple effect. People will start to see you as a leader, someone who can navigate uncertainty with grace and conviction. You become a lighthouse, steady and unfazed by the turbulent seas around you. And think about the momentum this can build. When you act as if everything works out, you build momentum not just through successes, but through persistence. Each time you respond to a setback with the belief that it will work out, you're adding to that momentum. It's like pushing a flywheel. At first, it takes effort, and you may not see much movement. But with consistent effort, the wheel starts to turn more easily, picking up speed. Your belief becomes a self-sustaining cycle that propels you forward, making each subsequent challenge a little easier to face. People who live with this mindset aren't deluded into thinking that life will always go as planned. Instead, they're adaptable. They have the inner flexibility to change their approach when needed. If one path closes, they don't stop. They look for another. They trust that if one door doesn't open, it's because there's a better one waiting down the hall. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's a practical approach that ensures you're always moving forward. There's something powerful about resilience born out of this belief. It doesn't mean you don't feel the impact of hard times, but it means you don't let them define you. You acknowledge your struggles, allow yourself to feel what you need to feel, but then you remind yourself, this isn't the end. It's just a chapter. You have the pen, and you can choose what comes next. This mindset also helps you build better relationships. When you act like everything works out, you're less reactive and more responsive. You approach conversations and conflicts with a sense of balance. You're not so quick to jump to conclusions or be defensive because deep down you trust that even disagreements can lead to better understanding and outcomes. This makes you a better friend, partner, and leader. People are drawn to someone who sees potential where others see problems. Acting as if everything works out doesn't just impact the big moments in life, it transforms the everyday. It changes how you show up at work, how you engage with family, how you pursue hobbies and interests. It shifts your entire approach to living, making life richer and more enjoyable. Instead of dreading the unknown, you start to welcome it as an invitation to grow, to expand your capabilities, to discover just how far you can go. Over time, this mindset becomes second nature. The doubts that used to shout in your mind become whispers. The fears that used to hold you back become manageable. You might still feel nervous about a new venture, but you won't let that stop you from trying. You'll hear that voice of uncertainty, but it will be drowned out by a louder voice that says, go for it. You'll figure it out. When you act like everything works out for you, you'll soon find that opportunities will find you. When you embody this mindset, you become more attractive to opportunities that align with your beliefs and values. People who need someone they can count on, someone who can handle the ups and downs, will seek you out. Your belief that things will work out becomes a signal that you're ready for challenges. You're willing to take calculated risks, and that willingness often pays off in unexpected ways. When you do this, it'll change how you handle failure. Instead of being ashamed or paralyzed by it, you use it as fuel. You look at what went wrong, take notes, and move forward with more knowledge and experience than you had before. You stop seeing failure as an indictment of your ability and start seeing it as feedback. Each setback becomes a lesson, and each lesson brings you closer to mastery. Colonel Sanders was turned down more than 1,000 times when he tried to sell his fried chicken recipe. 1,000 times. Most people would have given up after the first 100, maybe even the first 10. But he acted like every no was just one more step on the way to a yes. That's what it means to act as if everything works out for you. It means seeing rejection as redirection and failure as part of the process, not the final verdict. Acting as if everything works out isn't only about career or finances. It applies to all areas of life. When you face health challenges, relationship struggles, or personal setbacks, this mindset keeps you steady. It reminds you that healing, reconciliation, and growth are possible. It allows you to step back and look at the bigger picture, to see beyond the immediate discomfort or pain to the potential lessons and eventual gains. People often think that acting like everything works out means ignoring reality. But the truth is, it's about embracing reality with a different lens. You face life head on, but with a knowing that no matter how dark it might seem now, the sun will rise again. You learn to be grateful, not just for the good times, but for the resilience the hard times build in you. You start to see that the challenges you overcome become the stories you tell, the experiences that strengthen you, and the wisdom you share with others. There's an incredible liberation in trusting that things will work out. It frees you from overthinking and endless worry. Instead of analyzing every possible negative outcome and weighing yourself down, you learn to assess the risks, make a decision, and trust that you can handle whatever comes next. Your life opens up because you're no longer confined by the fear of what might go wrong. You're propelled by the excitement of what could go right. It's important to remind yourself regularly that acting as if everything works out is a practice, not a one-time shift. There will be days when doubt creeps in, when circumstances feel overwhelming. In those moments, go back to the basics. Pause, take a breath, and remind yourself of what you know to be true. Recall past experiences when things did work out, even if they looked bleak at first. Draw on that memory bank to reinforce your faith. Surround yourself with stories of resilience, of people who faced incredible odds and came out stronger. Let their stories be proof that you can do the same. The best part of adopting this mindset is that it doesn't require perfection. You don't have to get it right all the time. It's okay to falter, to have days when your belief wavers. What matters is that you come back to it, that you recommit to seeing life as an adventure where everything has the potential to work out. Each time you do, you're building a muscle that makes future challenges easier to face. Acting like everything works out empowers you to live with more passion. You pursue your goals, not because you're certain of success, but because you're certain that no matter what, you'll come out better for trying. Life rewards this kind of courage. It might not always look like what you expect, but in time, you'll find that even the detours were leading you somewhere worthwhile. When you live this way, you stop holding back. You make the call, send the application, start the project, have the conversation. You do the things that set your soul on fire, not because you know exactly how it will turn out, but because you trust that taking action will reveal the way. And in the process, you become more than you were. You grow into someone who can handle life's complexities with grace, who meets the unexpected with curiosity and confidence. Acting as if everything works out for you is not just a mindset, it's a way of life. It's a commitment to show up fully, to engage with life's highs and lows, to face challenges with an open heart. It's a declaration that no matter what, you believe in your ability to rise, adapt, and thrive. And in the end, that belief, rooted in resilience and hope, is often what makes everything work out just as it should.